This is Warhammer like you've never seen it before. Welcome to Dawn of War Warhammer. Since 2004, this little Imperial Guardsman has always dreamt one hobby dream: to bring Dawn of War to the tabletop. I want a game of Warhammer exactly like the greatest Warhammer video game of all time. I'm talking base building, mustering an army,
Marine squad deployed,
upgrades,
Light of the Emperor,
map control, exploration,
captured,
and above all, a fully functional Dawn of War economy built right on top of Warhammer 40k. Today we've got our third installment of Dawn of War Warhammer, and we have a ripper of a battle on a gorgeous new 60 square foot Dawn of War gaming board, and for the first time ever, the mighty Imperial Guard will stand in defense of the Imperium. This rule set is an overlay, which means you can use it with whatever wargaming system you like, but with Warhammer 40k 10th edition hot off the press, it's time for some 40k action. Today's battle is our first glimpse of a standard mission that you guys can play at home. Our two factions start with their HQ buildings on opposite sides of the map, with 3 strategic points nearby, and running through the center are 3 critical locations. These special strategic points not only generate resources, but also victory points. Each side can secure victory today by scoring the most VPs after 9 turns, or achieve an early sudden death victory by holding all 3 critical locations for 2 consecutive turns, or destroying the enemy HQ building. Commanding the hordes of the Imperium is me, Lockie of ZorpHammer. Glory to the first man to die! And stealing my beloved Blood Ravens all the way from Ireland is Ollie from Broadsword Wargaming.
Walk softly and carry a big gun.
Today we'll be playing the first 5 turns of each side in secret before the fog of war rolls back and open war begins. So while Ollie is busy painting some Tyranids for a future battle report, I got stuck in readying the Imperial Guard for battle. Our first spend for a measly 97 requisition is the basic Guardsman squad, the backbone of the early game Imperial Guard army, who can deploy from our HQ building, and then performed an advanced move rolling a massive 6 inches to deploy straight on top of Strategic Point 1 just east of the field command.
It's an honor to serve the Imperium, sir.
Each turn, each player can build 1 structure per eligible build zone that they control, so I spent 100 requisition to build the first power generator, which generated a build bonus of 100 power and will earn me 50 power every single turn. Turn 2 for the Guard Squad began with Guard Squad Alpha capturing Strategic Point 1.
Objective secured.
Which generated a 100 requisition capture bonus and will now generate 100 requisition every single turn. The standard Guardsman squad is able to perform 2 basic reinforce actions each turn instead of 1, so I can add 2 Guardsmen before they advanced another 6 inches and surged off towards the eastern side of the plateau to secure Strategic Point 2 and begin to threaten those all-important critical objectives. Back at the field command, I deployed Guardsman Squad Bravo, who advanced 9 inches and deployed to the southern access ramp to move towards Strategic Point 3 and the southwest critical location.
Left, right, left!
My building this turn was the Tactica Control, the primary research building for the Imperial Guard faction. One major early game advantage of the Guard is that because the HQ building can create a bunch of different unit options, I can delay building the unit production structures and focus on resources and research buildings. With a second build zone activated by controlling SP1, I built a second structure this turn, the Mechanized Command. As vehicles are where the Imperial Guard truly shines, we need to get those tanks rolling off to war as soon as possible.
Well, let's see them fight, all of us!
I kicked off turn 3, reinforcing Guardsman Squad Alpha with 2 more troopers and a sergeant for 60 requisition and 20 power. My goodness, these guys are just so cheap compared to Space Marines, and they advanced 9 inches towards SP2, and then spent 105 requisition and 50 power to deploy a Chimera, which can be built at the mech center immediately without any further research, unlike the other Guard vehicles, which are a bit more complicated to construct. Before activating the Chimera, I deployed Guardsman Squad Charlie from the field command, and as they can act normally the turn they are deployed, they embark straight into their awaiting transport, which surged off towards the southern access ramp to support Squad Bravo.
Standing by.
Bravo also added 3 guardsmen this turn, 2 troopers and a sergeant, and advanced down the map to SP3, but fell just short of being able to set up a capture for next turn. At the Tactica Control, I researched the first weapons specialization technology, which will take a full turn to resolve and allows each guardsman squad to deploy up to 3 special or heavy weapons. A second power generator to keep boosting our power economy in preparation for a mechanized horde in the turns ahead, and the Imperial Guard base is already looking impressive. Turn 4 saw Bravo Squad reinforce 2 new troopers and equip a plasma gun, perfect for annihilating those pesky Space Marines, before advancing onto SP3, while Squad Charlie and the Chimera gave them a little toot-toot as they zoomed past and parked up right in front of the southwest critical location. Inside the troop bay of the Chimera, Squad Charlie reinforced 2 troopers and a sergeant and prepared to launch forwards into the unknown. Up on the plateau, Alpha Squad reinforced 2 troopers and equipped a plasma gun, taking them to 12 squad members before they deployed to secure SP2 and radioed back to command for some reinforcement, knowing they are getting perilously close to enemy territory.
Keep in formation!
As our squad cap is currently full at 6 out of 6 slots, with each guard squad taking up 2 slots apiece, I couldn't deploy a 4th guard squad from the field command, so this turn I opted for a commissar.
Glory for the first man to die!
For 75 requisition and 10 power, but luckily 0 squad cap. HQ units like the Commissar are very important for issuing orders and buffs to the guard infantry units, but instead of racing off to the front line, he garrisoned within the field command's bunker capacity, a unique ability in all guard command buildings for some sneaky underground tunnel redeployment that we'll see a little bit later on. At the mechanized command, I researched the Sentinel Depot technology, which allows me to build sentinels at this specific building in future turns, and I then deployed a second Chimera and zoomed it east to support Squad Alpha.
Standing by.
Resources are getting very tight, but luckily turn 5 kicks off with a bunch of gains, with Alpha capturing strategic point 2,
Capturing it was easy. Holding it will be hard.
before embarking into the awaiting Chimera and zooming down the eastern access ramp to threaten the northeastern critical location, a move that hopefully Ollie won't be expecting. I've had some amazing advance rolls so far, so I'm striking pretty deep for this early in the game, but I'm sure the Marines are up to some sneaky shenanigans over there within the fog of war.
By the Emperor, we've won. You shall have your prize.
The resource boom continued, with Guardsman Squad Bravo securing SP3 and then reinforcing more troopers and a plasma gun before sprinting towards the southwestern critical location.
Where are those damn tech priests?
Charlie Squad deployed from their Chimera and surged onto the objective. This won't be captured until the start of next turn, but the Imperial Guard are almost on the scoring board.
Orders received and understood. Get on that multi-laser! Take it at all costs!
Next, I finally built my very first infantry command, which is not only a crucial structure for army production, but also immediately adds 7 squad capacity, taking my squad cap up to 13.
Reporting for duty, sir!
This allowed me to build my 4th Guardsman Squad Delta, who redeployed into the field command's bunker just like the Commissar the turn before. These troops will now be able to redeploy into any one of the command structures around the map in the following turn. At the Mechanized Command, my very first Sentinel marched to war, rolling 3 for its advance and starting to make a little scouting probe on the central objective to get in a position to harass any Space Marine forces threatening that part of the map. 5 Imperial Guard turns complete. Let's find out what the Space Marines have been doing. Today, the amazing Ollie from Broadsword Wargaming is going to be playing remotely over a video link all the way from Ireland.
Hello from Ireland.
So throughout the game, Ollie will be calling the shots and I'm going to have to be his hands.
So I've got the mighty Space Marines today, and their early game is pretty simple. I deployed a scout squad from the Stronghold, who advanced to begin capturing strategic point 4.
Strategic point identified.
And then, in the HQ build zone, I constructed the most important Space Marine building, the Chapel Barracks. Turn 2 saw the scout squad secure SP4,
Defending objective.
add a member to their squad, and roll a massive 6-inch advance to see them sprint towards strategic point 6 at the western edge of the city sector.
Marine squad deployed.
For a whopping 198 requisition, I then deployed Marine Squad Octavian from the Chapel Barrack.
Fear denies faith. Moving out.
and then a big 5-inch for the advance move to see them surge off northwest into the ruins, only just falling short of strategic point 5.
Defending objective.
With the capture bonus from SP4, I had some resources to burn, so decided to construct not 1, but 2 power generators using the build zone of HQ and the new build zone from strategic point 4.
Initializing build protocol.
I started turn 3 with my scout squad reaching full strength at 4 members, who then rolled another 5-inch advance. Man, my troops are keen to secure the city sector. They must see Loki's guard forces advancing on the Auspex. Then, back at the chapel barracks, I deployed our second squad marine, Furio, who rolled another 6 to advance 12 inches north to start making ground towards the northeastern critical location. These advance rolls have been crazy.
Stay vigilant, brothers.
Octavian moved up to begin securing SP5, and then back at the base, it was time for the all-important Space Marine Armoury to be constructed. This is the primary research structure for the Marines, allowing for various weapons and upgrades to be researched, but also, as of the latest update in the Dawn of War Warhammer rule set, allows the Space Marines to access their combat doctrines and enhancements that we see in the normal Warhammer 40k game.
Objective achieved.
Turn 4 began with Octavian capturing CP5 and adding a 6th loyal brother to their squad, before rolling another 5-inch advance to launch right up into the upper levels of the blown out Administratum, giving them a fantastic defensive position and vantage point over both the central and northeastern critical locations.
None shall stop us. Awaiting orders.
With their brothers urging them forwards, Furio added another squad member and advanced only a measly 4 inches to reach the top of the North City access ramp, within sight of the critical location.
Objective logged. Strategic point identified. Claim it in the name of the Emperor.
At the armory, I grabbed the first heavy weapons increase so I can upgrade my marines with some anti-guard Daka in future turns, and then the scouts advanced 9 inches within sight of SP6.
Commencing infiltration. Strategic point identified.
Then it was time to build the almighty machine cult, and damn, that Space Marine base is looking fine.
Initiated.
Now we enter the final turn before the fog of war rolls back and the battle truly begins. I began by upgrading my squad Furio with a 6th Marine and a heavy bolter, before they advanced another 5 inches to land just in front of the critical location. So close and yet so far. Squad Octavian high up in the ruins got a 7th member and a missile launcher, perfect to pop any sneaky sentinels making a rush on any objectives.
None shall stop us.
And then it was time for the big guns, and I spent a whopping 90 requisition and 105 power on the first Space Marine Predator. This beast deploys with 2 heavy bolter sponsons and the Predator autocannon, the first anti-guard loadout early game, and it trundled off the machine cult and zoomed out towards SP5 and the southeastern critical location. I'm guessing that Loki has swarmed the central objective and the southeast is probably more lightly defended, so hopefully I can catch him off guard.
Scouts awaiting orders.
The scouts rolled yet another 5 to advance right onto SP5, and with that final movement, the Space Marines are in a strong position to begin taking the fight to the treacherous Imperial Guard who dare to stand against the mighty Blood Ravens.
With the fog of war rolled back, I reconstructed my guard base and returned my valiant troops to the battlefield, but I don't think Ollie was expecting to see just that many guardsmen.
So the fog of war has rolled back. I've got you guys in this hand and I've got Ollie in this hand, and it is time to reveal our battlefield. I have pushed right up on this objective, dude. Yeah, I'm almost on the scoreboard, man. I've got guys in here that are about to redeploy. There's a sentinel there, and I've got my Chimera here. Look at this.
You have so many models.
This is going to be a big fight this turn. So,
well, I've got some work to do.
It's going to be pretty spicy now. I've definitely maybe taken the lead, do you think? There's not many Marines, right?
That is a lot of guardsmen.
Yeah, okay, so let's just get into my Imperial Guard turn and let's hunt some Space Marines.
The 6th Imperial Guard turn kicks off with Charlie's squad capturing the southwest critical location. This not only doubles the amount of victory point it scores in the end phase, it now also generates 200 requisition per turn, netting me a whopping 620 rec this turn, and I started spending hard. Charlie redeployed into the awaiting Chimera, who rolled a 5 to advance 15 inches, and inside the hull of their transport they reinforced 2 guardsmen and another plasma gun and zoomed off to threaten the central objective.
Keep in formation!
Bravo advanced 9 inches to set up a defensive position on the newly captured critical location, and also added 2 more guardsmen and a plasma gun.
Sentinels ready to deploy. Following orders.
My Sentinel rolled a monster 6 for its advance and sprinted into the center to link up with Charlie Squad.
Standing by.
Then Delta Squad and their Commissar used the underground tunnel network between all of my command structures to redeploy from the field command all the way across the plateau to the infantry command at Strategic Point 2.
Where is his will needed?
They reinforced and added a grenade launcher for some tactical flexibility, and then advanced 8 inches down the ramp.
For Emperor and Imperium.
I will not fail.
I researched the Kazakhstan quarters at that infantry command so that next turn I can make some elite troopers, and then deployed a command squad for 90 requisition and 20 power.
All right, men, time to wage war.
Who actually just starts as a single character, the Cadian Castellan, but can reinforce with more characters in future turns.
I stand ready to serve.
Enemy sighted.
Ready to transport our men.
Alpha Squad zoomed forward in their Chimera and deployed within rapid fire range of Furio Squad, careful to make sure my plasma guns had line of sight, and then reinforced and upgraded a new plasma gun for some added punch.
Imperial Guard, attack!
A few weeks ago, I realized I needed an Imperial Guard army super fast to film this battle report, and Elston from Elston Nation saved the day.
Let's get to it.
And volunteered to paint just a monster army for me, lightning fast, and then post it down here for me to shoot a bunch of battle reports with. If you'd like to see his just insane painting journey to get about 1 million Krieg infantry and million more tanks ready in just a single week, go and check out his video over on Elston Nation, link down in the comments, and give him a big subscribe for me. You are going to love his crazy Warhammer armies. Alpha Squad are claiming the honors. They were the first squad on the board, and they're the first squad to open fire. I've managed to get my 3 plasma guns all in rapid fire range, so 6 shots with the plasma, only 2 hits, but I'm only chasing 3 to wound, and with the dangerous supercharged profile, it's damage 2 for each shot. No wounds at all. Any ones here, and that plasma gun is going to explode. Oh god, no. The plasma gun have eviscerated one of my own guardsmen and done nothing to the Space Marines. Let's see if the las guns can do the work.
Shore up that left flank and keep firing! Kill them! Kill them all!
Only 1 Marine from the las guns. Let's see if the Chimera can do a little more. I've got my hull-mounted heavy bolter. I'm hitting with 2, and because I rolled a big 6, that gives me an extra hit as well from sustained hits 1, 3s to wounds. And I've got 1 save for the Marines there at -1. And then the multi-laser is just big strength 6, 4 shots. Another 2, so 2 normal saves and 1 reduced saves for the Space Marines. Oh, very nice. Damage 2 from the heavy bolter claims another Marine and another one wounded. We've peppered them, but we haven't managed to blow them away.
Who wants some more?
Frustratingly, I couldn't force a battle shock test to sabotage Squad Furio's ability to score the objective next turn, but with my captured objective in the southwest earning me 2 VP in this end phase, the score moves up to 3-0. My guardsmen are pulling ahead nicely.
I'm feeling a little under the pump at the moment because Lockie has achieved so much early board control. Squad Furio reinforced and added a heavy bolter, moving on to the northeast critical location before sighting their bolters on the pesky guardsmen closing in.
Yes, my lord.
In the ruins, Squad Octavian reinforced and added a second missile launcher. With a wealth of different targets to aim at, they'll be staying in position to get the heavy weapon firing bonuses.
Our faith holds us.
Marines!
None shall stop us.
At the barracks, I deployed Assault Squad Ignis, who advanced 17 inches to drop down into the central valley.
Death from above.
Strategic point identified. Defending objective.
The scouts captured Strategic Point 6 and then advanced towards the Guard's southern flank, before the Predators zoomed past in to support.
Just take us into the thick of it.
With the build zone clear, I built my second chapel barracks, nice and close to the action and hopefully able to support my push on the southwest critical location. I researched the vehicle cap at the Stronghold before deploying a dreadnought at the machine cult, who sauntered off to war, advancing 9 inches in support of the assault.
Faith is eternal. Your end is at hand. To me, my brothers. Moving out, I shall end you.
Now, YouTube is a pretty harsh master, especially on brand new channels, and in your first kind of couple of months and your first couple of videos, everything is so important. If you're enjoying Dawn of War Warhammer and you'd like to see more of it, click that little subscribe button, and a like as well would be great. So helpful for a channel that's just this small. We've got like less than 10K at the moment. We need to pump those rookie numbers up. As always in Dawn of War Warhammer, the early turns are a lot of positioning, and then the dice start to roll. And I'm gonna have to do a lot of rolling because obviously Ollie is an island. So I'm gonna be your hands, Ollie.
Hello from Ireland.
Now, talk to me about this this predator. Where are we going to shoot?
Right, the predator is going to shoot right into the back of the chimera.
Okay, all right, so let's start with the Predator autocannon into my Chimera. Oh, goodness. Ollie, you're actually in rapid fire range.
Oh, yes, rapid fire.
So that'll go up to 6 shots. Re-rolling the 2 failed hits from the Oath of Moment target as the Chimera this turn. That gets you another one, Ollie. Strength 9, toughness 9. That is 4s to wound, Ollie. And I've got 11 wounds, D3 damage. This could be bad. Oh, just the one wound.
That was absolute trash.
I'm like, I got sad, but then I realized, no, this is good. It's my tank being shot at. My save goes down to 4+, and I do pass. So the Predator autocannon bounces off everywhere, but you've got 2 heavy bolter sponsons. Ollie, do you want to keep going for my tank, or is it infantry time?
Heavy bolters into the guardsmen on the objective, I think.
Okay. 2 heavy bolters straight across into my poor little guardsman. That was the most vicious throw I've ever seen. 3 wounds, my save's down to 6 with the heavy bolter. Oh, 2 6s. I only lose a single guardsman. Your Predator's not scary at all, Ollie.
Take it back to the machine cult. What an absolute waste of requisition.
Oh, that was so trash.
Yeah, that's awful dice rolling, thanks.
I feel bad for you. That was shocking.
Attacking as ordered.
After the awful shooting from my Predator, Furio unloaded, killing 3 guardsmen with bolters rapid firing, before opening up with 2 heavy bolters, racking up a sustained hit on each to nail down 4 wounds. But unfortunately, the Alpha Squad miraculously saved 2 of them, with big 6s only losing 5 models from the salvo.
I'm hit!
Desperate to battle shock Alpha Squad so they can't contest my critical location, Squad Octavian fired their bolters, dealing 3 wounds and pulping 2 more guardsmen with mass reactive shells, crucially dropping their squad to 7 gore-splattered members who are now below half strength and might get battle shock next turn.
Their armor approaches. Devastator support required.
The 2 rocket launchers fired off cracked missiles at the Sentinel but failed to score any wounds.
Die, scum!
I picked up my first VP, but I am still very far behind in this game.
Now, obviously for today's battle, we needed an absolutely banger Imperial Guard base. And these STL files from War Scenery are just the greatest 3D printed buildings I've ever seen. They're fully enterable, so you can garrison units inside. They look like they've just come straight out of the game, and they paint up like an absolute dream.
I knocked out this set of scenery in about a week, and it all printed out totally fine without supports and came out looking really nice. Just a quick cleanup where the prints were mounted to the base plate, and then it was assembly time. And there's lots of really cool moving doors and sculpted industrial details that also make it super easy to paint. In a couple of hours I had them looking great, starting with 2 layers of grey with rattle cans to get that kind of nice concrete vibe, and then smashing down some colours with my airbrush, a nice Cadian green, and then some black, and then some silver dry brush details. War Scenery even have a really cool range of objective markers which are perfect for critical locations and strategic points that we used in today's game, but their range is way more than just Imperial Guard. They've got Tau-inspired stuff, a huge selection of different sci-fi buildings for all different types of 40k settings, and a whole new range of Space Marine buildings coming very soon.
Now, this isn't a paid ad, but if you guys want to go and print some awesome Dawn of War landscapes for yourself so you can play Dawn of War Warhammer at home, use the link down in the description to grab some of the stunning STL files from War Scenery, and it will send a little kickback to us to help support the campaign and keep Dawn of War Warhammer going.
Right, well, I can see Ollie coming for my hard-earned board control, so it's time to dig in. Bravo reinforced and pushed up to set up a rapid-fire range next turn for any units charging from the new chapel barracks.
On your guard, Marines!
Then behind them in the strategic point 3 build zone, I brought down my 2nd infantry command. This not only gives me my full squad cap now of 20 and a 2nd place to build infantry, but also connects to the underground tunnel network for rapid redeployment. At the mechanized command, I upgraded the Lehman Russ depot so that next turn the signature guard tank will be rolling to war, but for now, it's time for some long-range fire support.
Someone call for an Earthshaker?
The Earthshaker cannon on the Basilisk has a massive range, and while it isn't allowed to fire directly into the Space Marine base, it's going to be amazing for covering the objectives. The Sentinel pushed up to control the central critical location, but we need to deal with these Assault Marines or they'll have an easy contest next turn, so Charlie deployed from the Chimera, setting up their plasma guns for some molten death. Earlier in my command phase, my command squad ordered Delta Squad the first rank, second rank fire order to increase their rapid fire output, so they moved up within 12 inches of Squad Octavian above them in the ruins.
Space Marines! Oh, this'll be ugly. Thought they broke our backs! Ha!
Alpha Squad luckily survived their battle shock, so they are still able to contest the critical location in the northeast, and then reinforced to get back above half strength and moved up to threaten Furio Squad. Our first Kazakin unit is deployed on the plateau, represented by Elston's gorgeous Krieg Grenadiers, who moved up to overwatch the central objective. Comment below if you'd love to see me use the stunning Krieg cavalry models that Elston sent over in our next game with the Guard. Remember to check out the insane journey that Elston had to get this Guard army ready for the campaign over on his channel, linked in the pinned comment.
I've managed to set up a pretty fierce bit of board control. Have a look at this, Ollie. I've got dudes all through here. I've got my Sentinel in the middle.
You are swarming the board.
And even up the back there, it's looking pretty strong. So I've got the gun line, I've got the bodies. Can I pull the trigger and blow these Space Marines away?
I'm sure you'll roll well when it's your models.
Let's find out.
My forces open the shooting and Alpha Squad show their class again, managing to roll 4 ones for both rapid-firing plasma guns before doing even less with the las guns.
Who wants some more? Get on that multi-laser!
The Chimera tried to lend some support, scoring 3 wounds with the multi-laser, but Ollie saved all 3 before finally managing to score a single failed save with the las gun array to remove the injured Space Marine in Furio Squad. Hoping to do a lot better with the commander's order in effect, Delta Squad rapid fired 24 shots up into the ruins, but only managed 8 hits and 3 wounds, which were all saved, with only a crack grenade from the launcher managing to plink off a single wound. Absolutely awful shooting so far. I had the Commissar shoot one of my men to remind them how much the Emperor loves them, so hopefully they'll do better next time. In a staggeringly unpredictable development, Bravo Squad fired at the scouts and scored no wounds. But now the shots that matter. Charlie unloaded onto the assault squad and they scored, you guessed it, no wounds. Right, stuff this infantry, I need some bloody tanks.
Tanks? Where are the bloody tanks?
Under fire!
The Chimera multi-laser opened fire, scoring 2 hits, wounding 1, and then Ollie finally failed a save to see me wound 1 Marine.
Taking damage!
And then the Sentinel followed suit with his multi-melter, forcing 2 saves this time, and finally a Space Marine slumped to the plains of Dera, riddled with las fire.
Time for death, scum! Don't let them get past us!
So I think it's pretty fair to say that that round of shooting was an unmitigated disaster. The amount of las and plasma that I poured into Ollie's Space Marines to kill 2.5 of them, atrocious. But I have my Basilisk. My big Earthshaker cannon is going to launch a shell up over this scenery and down on top of Squad Furio, who is about to score Ollie's first victory points. If I can't blow these guys away, I'm about to lose my early game advantage. I've got D6 plus 3 shots. A big roll here would be pretty clutch. I've got a 5. Okay, so that is 8 shots. 8 shots. I really needed that. Now, the Basilisk actually has line of sight, so I don't have my -1 from indirect fire, and because I'm stationary, I'm actually hitting at +1 because of heavy, so I only need 3s. 8 shells. This is looking good. Why? Why did I talk? Why did I say anything?
That's what you get.
All right, so I've missed with 4 with a massive 3 ones. That's only half, but it's enough wounds, Ollie. It's enough. I've got 4 wounds. You've got 4 guys. Now each of these is damage 2, right? So
You better not kill them all.
now your saves are 5+ because of AP -2. Here we go. 3 dead Marines, 1 survives. Unfortunately, there's a chance they're going to score. They might be battle shocked though.
No way, my boys aren't going to run away.
What is it going to take to kill these damn Space Marines? Then, after a frankly dismal turn to top it all off, Alpha Squad failed their charge, almost guaranteeing more VPs for Ollie. They need a visit from the Commissar. With the Sentinel now controlling the center critical location and the southwest still captured, we netted 3 VPs to take the score to 6-1. But I think my lead is about to get much.
A bit of a scary dice roll to start my 7th turn, but Furio passed their battle shock, meaning that the northeastern critical location moved from controlled to captured, which not only gives me more VPs in the end phase, but a crucial requisition boost.
At your command.
I added a sergeant to Furio for some punch in combat, and a nice leadership buff, and then a 3rd missile launcher to Octavian. They need to do some work this turn.
The enemy attack at their peril.
My Dreadnought pushed up and equipped a twin las cannon for 30 requisition and 50 power.
I have waited long for this day.
The Predator flew down the ramp, and the scouts tucked in behind to stay in cover behind their tanks, whilst keeping a target lock on the guardsmen on the southwest critical location.
Hold the line, damn it!
Squad Tempestus deployed from the new chapel barracks and pushed down to support the scouts.
The enemy approach. Charge!
But in a massive redeployment, the Assault Marines used their special jump ability to leap up to 48 inches and landed right on top of the southwest critical location before reinforcing a 4th member to try and keep them alive through Lockie's next turn.
For the Emperor!
Deep striking.
To ensure I didn't give up entirely on the center, it was time for the greatest unit at my disposal.
Into the maelstrom of battle!
Yes, the ultimate deep striking unit from Dawn of War, the Terminator Squad. And in 10th edition, these guys are savage.
Cease and repent.
Furio tried to soften up the guard, but apparently Alpha's horrible shooting rubbed off on him.
We're under fire!
Over on the other flank, the Assault Marines managed to kill 2 with their bolt pistols before the Marine Squad killed 1 guardsman with long-range bolter fire.
Where's our fire support?
Then the Predator opened fire, opting for a nice soft target this turn, starting with 2 heavy bolters, managing 8 hits with double sustained 6s and wounding 6 times, ripping apart 5 members of Bravo Squad.
Taking hits! Look out! Here they come!
Then the Predator autocannon turret ripped apart another 5, leaving only 2 poor guardsmen soaked in pulped viscera that mere moments ago had been 15 of their brothers.
I'm hit!
Their horror was short-lived, as the scouts then fired 4 final bolts of death and landed 3 hits and 2 wounds, which was just enough to finish off the entire squad.
It's too much for us!
What an absolutely savage round of shooting.
For the Emperor!
Although it didn't continue perfectly, as my Dreadnought missed the Sentinel with his twin-linked las cannon.
Quick and fast, just the way we like it.
But Octavian brought in the goods, firing 2 frag missiles over into Charlie's squad, racking up a massive 8 shots, which all hit and all wounded and blasted apart 7 guardsmen.
We're under fire! I'm hit! I'm hit!
In retrospect, probably shouldn't have got them out of the Chimera.
The bolters shot down at Delta Squad, killing 3, and the final frag missile fired down into Alpha Squad, but didn't manage to make any kills.
Attacking as ordered.
Where's our cover fire?
The Terminators then unloaded with their storm bolters and eviscerated all the models of Charlie's squad that they could see, which crucially was all the plasma gunners.
Die, scum! No prisoners!
In combat, Ollie's Termies racked up 9 hits and landed 4 wounds with the Power Fists and 2 with the Power Sword, with the damage 2 of the Power Fist and only 8 wounds on the Sentinel, and my reduced save of 4+. This should have been enough, but some amazing saving only saw my Sentinel take 2 measly wounds, and even though it didn't do any damage back, my Sentinel has an objective control characteristic of 2 to the Terminator's 1, so I'm still going to successfully deny Ollie those victory points.
In the north, another charge went off as Furio launched into combat, but 5 1s and a 2 saw them bounce off, although they suddenly remembered how to roll when making saves and didn't take any damage. Although, in hindsight, I probably should have just camped on the objective, but At least this way Alpha Squad can't shoot me next turn.
No prisoners!
Storm them!
A big gain of 3 victory points for Ollie this turn, capturing the northeast and controlling the southwest sees the score fly to 4-6 in my favour. But my guard are already doing work, as the Sentinel finished capturing the centre in spite of his imminent death, although I can't score the VPs for holding it until my end phase, which means I've got one more fight phase to get through.
That way lies victory.
I began my command phase with my command squad issuing the move, move, move order to Delta Squad, who then moved a massive 11 inches with their advance to embark within the Chimera, and were soon joined by their commander before the Chimera gunned the engines and crested the ramp to threaten the home base of the Marines.
Forward, you dogs, to victory!
Alpha Squad performed a fallback move, making a desperate breakout to leave the combat and run through the Marines onto the critical location, but Furio Squad did manage to slice down 2 of them as they left. But with a quick reinforce action, Alpha Squad is back up to 8 members and guaranteed to control that objective this turn.
Take it at all costs!
After losing over 30 infantry last turn, the new Kazakhstan got back into cover, garrisoning within the bunker capacity of the Mars Pattern Command. Down in the southwest, I deployed our first heavy weapons squad, who deploys as 2 lone infantry. They then made a standard move and activated their entrench ability to swap into the big base and deploy their heavy bolter.
You called for some suppressive fire?
Charlie passed their battle shock test and embarked within the Chimera, who also crested this ramp to execute a pincer on the Space Marine supply lines. If you're enjoying the Dawn of War inspired landscapes and armies, make sure you check out the hobby side of this campaign over on ZorpHammer, link down in the description. Or if you want to play some Dawn of War Warhammer at home, we've got the experimental rules available for download on my Patreon. I am hoping that if this campaign is successful and I can keep making videos for it, to do a how to play guide and sort of go through all the rules right here on the channel. But if you want the rules right now, Patreon is the place to get them, and it's an amazing way to support Dawn of War Warhammer so you can get even more of it. The job of Imperial Guard infantry is to die for the Imperium. They're not meant to do damage, they're meant to absorb bullets so that other things can. And it is time to finally get the big boys on the field.
Heavy support available. Lehman Russ here. Bringing guns to bear. Prepare the battle cannon.
But at the Mars Pattern Command, it is the Bane Blade.
We'll flatten anything standing in our way. Ready to unleash 11 barrels of hell. Oh, you'll not find us lacking, sir.
And we have to blow away these damn assault marines before they capture that critical location. So I have got 3 heavy bolters, my sponsons and my hull mounted, unloading straight in. 4s to hit. Oh, very nice.
I'm so sick of hearing you say that.
7 hits and 2 counting 6s for sustained hits to take me up to 9, and chasing 3s to wound. Oh man, we forced a bunch of saves here.
Stop rolling so well. Lockie racked up 7 saves at AP -1.
Man, that is some mental saving, Ollie, with only a single assault marine going down. But that's fine, because now it's battle cannon time. So I've got D6 plus 3 shots, which is not bad, 7. And now I need 4s to hit across all 7 dice. And that is fantastic. 2s to wound with strength 10. A single 1, so 5 successful wounds. It's only AP -1, so these are 4-up saves, Ollie, but every single failed save is a dead assault marine.
No, you bastard.
Man, what a start. The Lehman Russ has cleared that critical location. We've only just begun.
Well, that was absolutely savage, disrupting my capture for next turn, and I think Lockie's about to unload with that damn basilisk.
Someone call for an earth shaker. Main gun ready! Fire! Shatter their sky!
Taking hits! Taking heavy fire! The enemy is attacking!
They call this the Rolling Fortress, and it's not that far from the truth. This thing has so many weapon profiles. We're going to be firing off in a couple of different directions. We're going to start small. My las cannon is going to fire off into the side of the Predator. Now, he needs a 4 to hit, and he has missed. That's a bummer. While we're going in that direction, I've also got my heavy bolter sponsored on that side, which is going to fire over into the Scout. So we're hitting on 4s, we've missed with 2, and we'll be wounding on 3s. And nothing there. Great start, but it's okay, because there's a million guns, man. Now it is going right. We are firing up into this poor little Marine squad. They got peppered by the Earthshaker. It wasn't enough. It's time to absolutely flatten them. Once again, we've got a nice little las cannon and heavy bolter, just like the other side. Still missing with those las cannons, and the bolters aren't doing great either, and a 3 to wound.
Whoa, keep shooting like that, please.
Okay, so all sponsors have done absolutely nothing, but that's okay, because we have the turret. Now, the turret has a coaxial autocannon and the Baneblade cannon, which is just ridiculous. 3d6 attacks. And we have got 3, 2, 5, 10 shots coming in, hitting on 4s. Not bad, that's better. And a whopping strength 12 is 2s to wounds. I still managed to get 3 1s in that. This is an appalling shooting phase.
Yes, great rolling, Lockie.
That is 4 damage, 3 saves for the poor little Space Marines. Ooh, Ollie, let's see what you can do. Armor saves reduced to 5+ because of the AP -2. 2 saves. All of that shooting, and I've killed 2 Space Marines.
I don't know why I was freaking over that stupid big tank.
There is 1 weapon left, and it is the front-mounted Demolisher Cannon. The only target that it has is the Dreadnought poking out from behind the Chimera. D6 +3 attacks. We have got a big 7 shots firing through, hitting on 4s. That's fairly average, just 3, but it is strength 14. But with toughness 9, it's still 3s to wound. 1, 2 big 6s. AP -3 is reducing the Dreadnought save to 5s. And those have both failed.
No, you bastard.
So, Ollie, this is D6 damage for each dice coming in. A lucky roll here, and your Dreadnought is about to be flattened, mate. Oh, double 6s!
You are a monster.
Sorry, that's just rude. That's rude. The Dreadnought is just absolutely squashed. Well, the Baneblade ended up doing something at least.
For my poor Dread.
Holy
The exploding Dreadnought chipped a wound off my Chimera with his fiery death, and then in the combat phase, my Sentinel failed to even dent the Terminator's armor before he was absolutely pulverized by the Power Fists. This decaptured the central critical location, costing me 2 VP, but I did still manage to pick up a single victory point by controlling the northeast, and more importantly, decapturing it for the Marines, chipping 2 VPs from Ollie's next turn.
With the center captured by the Terminators, I reinforced them with a new member and pounded forwards for some revenge on the Baneblade.
The Baneblade is a relic vehicle, which means that if it gets destroyed, the opponent claims 2 bonus victory points.
Furio are somehow still alive and are now back up to 3 members, and are vital for my chance of victory this turn. A 4th missile launcher for Octavian, and then for some added anti-tank punch, a triple las cannon upgrade for my Predator, spending 90 requisition and 110 power to upgrade the turret and both sponsons. The Predator zoomed out of the way of the troops and honed in on the Baneblade, while the Scouts and Tacticals pushed down onto the plateau. Assault Squad Ignis returned and jumped down to join the last-ditch rush on the southwest.
Infiltrating enemy territory.
And back at the base, a second Predator rolled off the machine cult to defend the Space Marine stronghold.
Predator deployed. Going straight to the front lines.
I opened the shooting by blasting apart 3 guardsmen with Octavian squad.
Where's our cover fire?
Before my new Predator opened fire on Lockie's Chimera, racking up a massive 7 wounds between sustained fire from the heavy bolters and some lancing shells from the autocannon.
Open up with everything we've got! Prepare for battle!
So Ollie is not really taking the bait here. He was supposed to get absorbed in my Baneblade and shoot at nothing but that, but this was a little rude. So my big flanking plan might be falling apart here.
The Predator opened up with the las cannon, scoring 3 hits and 2 wounds.
Let fly, all guns!
I then failed both of my armor saves, and Ollie rolled a massive 2d6 plus 2 damage, racking up 9 wounds on my rolling fortress, getting ever closer to those 2 Baneblade victory points.
I think some fool just shot at us.
Octavian up next fired 2 frag missiles down into Alpha Squad, and they just did their job perfectly, killing all but one of the guardsmen to leave Furio someone to charge, but missed with both crack missiles targeting the Chimera.
Incoming fire!
For the Emperor!
In combat, Furio made their charge easily and slaughtered the last member of Alpha Squad to securely tie up that objective.
Claim it in the name of the Emperor.
But in the center, the 5 Terminators spent 40 power to upgrade their Power Fists to Chain Fists and launched into combat, landing 7 hits, and now only needing 3s to wound, racked up 4 damage 2 wounds on the massive tank. And with only 1 save passed, that's another 6 wounds on the Baneblade.
Die, scum!
2 VPs for capturing the center and 1 VP for controlling the northeast sees the scores finally hit level at 7 all as we move into the final turn of the game.
Well, this is it, my last chance to score some damn points and keep Ollie at bay. I am running so low on power, so I built a new power generator just for the 100 power build bonus, and then deployed my Kazakin from inside the bunker complex and performed an advanced move to move up and secure the southwest critical location.
The objective is ours. I hope this thing was worth it.
My first Leman Russ moved up to get line of sight on the assault marines, and I then deployed a second Russ to pull up alongside the first and cover the plateau.
Tell the men the cavalry's arrived.
A new sentinel from the mechanized command deployed and rolled an absolutely clutch 6-inch advance, giving him a 14-inch move, which was the exact distance required to get him down the 2-inch rock face and onto the central objective. That was a fine margin indeed. Terrified of the new Predator and with Alpha Squad annihilated, Delta and the command echelon threw the Chimera into full reverse and then deployed right on top of the northeast critical location. The survivors from Charlie zoomed deeper into enemy territory, however, and deployed right in front of the Predator and reinforced with a shiny new melter gun. I then began to just unload with everything I could. Then it was on to the double Leman Russ battery, and my new Russ was abysmal, managing to kill only a single scout with all 3 heavy bolters, and then rolled a big 6 for the battle cannon attacks, landing 4 wounds, but some amazing saving only killed a single tactical marine.
Bringing guns to bear. Prepare the battle cannon.
My first Russ fared a little better, killing 1 assault marine with his battle cannon before dropping 2 scouts with his heavy bolters.
All guns, keep fire until they glow.
Delta Squad and their Chimera did little better on the northern flank, killing 1 Marine with a huge amount of rapid-firing las guns before the Chimera managed to plink off another wound. It looks like we'll be charging into combat to claim the objective this turn. I then retasked the Basilisk to cover the southern plateau, who launched some indirect fire up over the Manufactorum onto the tactical squad and managed to kill 3 of them, and even though they aren't wiped out, they suffer a 2-inch movement debuff from the huge Earthshaker shells, which effectively takes them out of scoring range of the objective. But we're going to finish it all off once again with the Baneblade, and this guy needs to do a lot more work than last time. I'm going to start firing this way. I've got 3 separate target pools on different flanks. We're going to pepper a few shots with 1 heavy bolter and a las cannon up into these cheeky Space Marines. 2s and 4s, 2 big wounds, 4 on the black and 6 on the green for you, Ollie. Fail any of them and it's a dead Space Marine. And you fail both! So that is 2 gone. This is much better than last time. The right sponson I'm going to split up. The las cannon is going to go into the Predator. Let's see if we get the big...
Yes!
The big one, right on the target we actually needed to hit. And then the heavy bolter is going to fire past into that lone scout and hopefully stop him from interfering with my objectives. I've missed with 2 shots. 3 to wound, got the wounds, and Ollie needs a big 4 to save this one. And the scouts just won't die.
Yeah, go on, little scouts.
It's fine. The twin heavy bolter and the demolisher cannon on the front of the Baneblade have to target the Terminators, starting with the heavy. 3 hits with twin linked. Okay, we've wounded 1 Terminator, but now it's demolisher cannon time. So D6 plus 3. Oh, she's got the 1. Okay, so 4 hits on the Termies. Hitting on 4s. 3 big hits there and needing only 2s to wound with strength 14 or something ridiculous. Wounding with all 3 and the Terminators are reduced to 5 for their save. And they've, well, even if it was 2+, I would have missed. So that is 3 successful wounds. Now each wound does D6 damage. This could be huge here. That is 1 dead Terminator. 1 dead Terminator. 3 dead Terminators! The Demolisher Cannon's done some work, just like the Dreadnought last turn.
That bloody Demolisher Cannon.
And now the turret weapons, the Baneblade Cannon and the Coax Autocannon into that assault squad. I have to rip them up. Ho ho ho! I've hit once with the autocannon, but 16 attacks on the 3d6 for the Baneblade Cannon. Let's see if we can hit. Only 6 hits, but it's 2s to wound across both weapons. And I've rolled 2 1s. Oh, this Baneblade Cannon, man. Okay, so that is some saves for you, Ollie, and they are pretty grim.
Okay, I now need 5s on the black and 4s on the green.
We've got enough. The high damage of the Baneblade Cannon squashes the Assault Marines. We've gotten rid of that threat. There's still 2 Terminators, though, to punch me in the combat phase. In the combat phase, Delta charged, and the Castellan in the command squad just single-handedly slaughtered the 2 remaining Space Marines in Furio squad, taking control of another objective this turn, and then over in the center, the surviving Terminators gunned their power fists and piled on another 4 wounds.
No prisoners!
A solid turn for the Guard, giving me control of all 3 objectives, but without any being captured. That's still only 3 victory points, taking the score up to 10-7.
It's the final Space Marine turn, and I need to somehow come up with 4 victory points to get up above Lockie's 10. And there's only one way to achieve that. I need to destroy the Baneblade for 2 VP and try and control the center and the southwest critical location. I started at the Armoury and finally purchased the Combat Doctrines research and selected the Tactical Doctrine for this turn, which allowed me to do a fallback move with my Terminators and still be able to charge the Sentinel late game.
Objective logged.
I added a 3rd Terminator with Chain Fist and they passed their battle shot, so we'll be able to score.
Yes, my lord.
Scouts ready.
I reinforced the Scouts and Marine Squad Tempestus before moving the Scouts up to set up for a charge late game, and thankfully they passed their battle shock, so they will be able to score. I zoomed the Predator up to grab line of sight on the Sentinel and opened fire with my heavy bolters and autocannon, but only managed a single damage 2 wound, which didn't pierce the Sentinel's armor.
Drive the enemy off!
In the southwest, Tempestus fired a frag missile, landing 4 hits and 2 wounds, but the 4+ save of the Kazakin saw only 1 veteran guardsman fall. The combined bolter fire with the Scouts claimed another 2, which sets up a doable but tricky fight to claim the objective.
Where's our cover fire?
The enemy is in our sights.
Octavian fired 2 crack missiles into the Sentinel, but again failed to get past the Walker's armor plating.
Hit 'em fast and hard.
Then the first really big moment of the turn. My Predator opened fire with all 3 last cannons into the Baneblade, who only has 5 wounds remaining. One sponsor in the turret hit and landed 2 big wounds, and with the Baneblade save reduced to 5+, both spearing lances of energy scored past the armor plating and scored 2d6 plus 2 wounds to rack up 10 wounds, reducing the Baneblade to molten slag. And as it's a relic vehicle, when destroyed it earns my Space Marines 2 victory points, taking me to 9 to Lockie's 10. It's all going to come down to the last 2 combats. The Scouts made their charge, but only landed 2 hits with 4 attacks, which both wounded, and once again the Kazakin 4+ save kept one of the guardsmen alive, and with both units having an objective control characteristic of 1, the critical location is tied, and unfortunately I can now only score a draw at best.
For the Emperor!
Can the Terminators save the mighty Blood Ravens from defeat? 3 Chain Fists coming in hot, hitting on 4s and scoring 5 big hits.
We shall prevail.
Then, needing 3s to wound, we racked up 4 big wounds, at AP-2 reducing the save to 4+, and needing all 4 to punch through to claim victory.
Light of the Emperor!
I busted out my faithful green dice and oh my holy Emperor, I failed 3 of them, taking 6 wounds, but the Sentinel survives with 2 wounds remaining, holding the objective and ending the game at 10 victory points to Ollie's 9, and a very, very slim victory for the Imperial Guard.
Glory for the Emperor!
Thank you so much for watching our third battle report, guys. This was just an absolute laugh to put together. It did take a huge amount of time though, about 160 hours in the end to get it all filmed and edited, so a huge amount of work. So I really hope you guys enjoyed it. I loved how much more of like a kind of standard match play experience this was. I think this game really showed what this system can do, and I can't wait to keep making more of them. Comment down below what factions you'd like to see in the next sort of matchup here in a kind of more classic game, and give the video a like, and please subscribe if you enjoyed it. And if you want to play some Dawn of War Warhammer at home, remember you can check out all of the experimental rules available on our Patreon, link down in the description. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one.